This is the 78th episode of the Effective Executive podcast and YouTube channel. And this week I want to talk about it's kind of a continuation of episode 77, last week's episode, and it's called Respect the System. So, what do I mean by that? Um, Oftentimes, when you go into a new organization, um, and especially as a new executive, you're going to find that there's an existing system already there. And what do I mean by that? The people, the technology, the processes, those types of things. And even if it's a whole new management team, the first thing that executives seem to do is go in and want to just change everything because maybe they came from a different company, had great success there, and it's one of those things where you just want to make changes and implement the things that you know and what's familiar with you. Except that's a bad place to start. And so, what I mean by respect the system is the existing system that's already in place. You've got, especially as you get into larger organizations, over 100 people, 200, it could be divisions of larger companies too. But those existing systems um, are difficult to change, especially if you don't have the support of the people who are in the system that they have, no matter how bad it is. And sometimes you do have to blow it up, but you still have to have some of the expertise and some of the people there support what you're doing. And some people will just fall in line. Others will leave just because you're there. But if you respect the existing system and try and understand the thinking that went into it, and you know how the people react to it, the technology, the processes, then you're also going to be able to see if the ideas and theories that you have will work in this system. And it's not just a matter of understanding it, getting to the point of, you know, from a neuroscience standpoint, getting people to change is very difficult unless they're part of the change. If you're bringing them along and they're coming up with some of the ideas, it might even be better, typically is, better than what you had in mind when you start to make changes in organizations. And that way you've got buy-in from people in the organization to be able to make whatever changes are necessary. Now, there's a whole mentality associated with this. A new system is nothing more than a theory. So just because it worked in the last place that you were at perfectly, you've got different people, you've got different technology, you've got different processes, different rules, you've got different, there's just everything's different. And making the assumption that what worked before is going to work in your new scenario it just doesn't really hold any weight. So you have to take the mindset that you have a theory and that you want to bring people along and treat it as a theory, as something to try out on a small scale. And this is where executives get themselves in trouble. Well, I've got this great idea and I'm going to roll it out to the whole organization, and they're going to love it. And doesn't happen. It rarely happens. Matter of fact, I've never seen it happen. So doing things on a small scale, you get people involved. You come up with a new design. They may look at the theory you have and say, "Hey, that's that may work, but look at this thing. I have a theory about this too." And you really need, going off of last week's piece, to be able to listen to what new ideas and theories that people have in their organization. Now, there's always a better way of thinking, and you can learn too, and interacting and engaging people in the transformation of your organization will allow you to make the changes. They're going to be engaged. They're going to, um, come up with really better ideas as time goes by, because once your theories in there, then now changes that need to be made are going to come from other folks within the organization. And now, what do you want? Do you want people working with you, or do you want people that resent that you came in and disrespected the existing system that's there? And so a lot of times the message I send early on and working in transformation with executives is, you have to come up with, an aim for the organization to shoot at. And that needs to be completed with the people that are a part of the organization. It's got to be something that they can buy into and that they can participate in. Otherwise, if it's all top down, we come up with the ideas as executives and you just do what do the work that we tell you to do, you're not going to have an organization that is going to be something that people are going to want to be a part of. And nowadays, with all the mass exodus of people from organizations, you really need to find ways to engage them. And I'm seeing these numbers now. People only are in positions where they used to be in them for 8 years. Now they're in them for 2 years. These are horrible things for systems, and especially larger ones that require longevity for people to really understand the system that they're working in. And so this is a real threat to me, from my perspective, to what's happening in the United States, at least with this mass exodus of people from large organizations. And to me, it's some of the stuff that we have here. People want to be listened to. They want their existing system respected, and if they're going to make changes, they want to be participants in that, and not just participants. They want to lead it. And I don't think it's about benefits. I've seen the commercials on that, and that may be part of it, but it's more you want to be a part of something that's going to, make things better. And I don't believe it's ESG. I think it's some of the things that I'm talking about here. It's the things that making you participate, having you participate in a system that you can have some participation in, and your ideas are listened to, those things. And then as the company grows from those ideas, you're going to have people that are developed and know that you want to hear things, new ideas that you may have, innovation. And those are all proactive things that I think every organization needs to be doing, which I've talked about pretty much every other episode that I've done here. So my message this week is respect the system that exists. Understand it. Understand why people do the way that they do. You want to change it if you're a new executive, or maybe a whole new executive team that's in there, but just coming in and, with the mandates and things of that sort, people hate that, and they'll leave. And with people leaving organizations, that's not a good thing. That's what I'm going to cover this week. Catch you next week.